Alrighty, we're back up. Let's do it. I believe I got my audio working this time. So we'll have to see. I'm going to do a little bit of an echo really quick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we do have it working. Awesome. Hopefully that stays working while we're doing this little stream. That is the goal, ultimately. I think we'll minimize that for now. I'm not going to worry about it. And we're going to be working on a Flappy Birds game. I better do one more thing actually first. Let me open this up. And anybody that wants to join, probably have to go to my studio here. We may worry about it, we may not. Okay. Hey, okay, so I think we're going to be doing that. I think we're just going to go, and anybody that joins will join. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty laid back right now with a little bit of a Flappy Bird game. Oh, punch the mic. Sorry about that, guys. Alrighty. So I think let's do this just so I can see. And okay, I think we'll probably get into this pretty quick. Let's just actually, you know what? We will. You're in silence? I just checked the audio and it was working. Make sure that it's not your audio. Okay, the stream audio is working, so we're not going to be in silence anymore. Turns out that when I did the last stream, I put it on and I accidentally checked the audio 2, so it was going through audio channel 2, which the stream doesn't pick up. So that was the problem there. Hopefully this will work though. All right. How's it going, everybody? Alrighty. So to start making our Flappy Bird game, I did get a comment about this, so that's why I wanted to do it. And it's a project that doesn't take a whole lot of time to actually make. So I'm just going to go in here and start setting up our scene. And we'll just set our camera and put it to the center, and we'll just drag that out really quick, like so. And I'm going to be using an orthographic camera for this project. I think that's going to be best since I kind of want the 2D side scroller kind of look to it. So I'll just go over here, go orthographic, and I'm going to set this to about 30. That should give us a wide enough field of view. And here's our little dude, and we'll just make him red for now, just to be easier to see. As far as the world goes, let's just set that up to be kind of a blue color. Has a blue sky in the background. And you know what? We might even get a little bit fancy just to start out with here, just to make it a little bit more pleasing to look at. And we're going to go to a gradient texture, if I can ever find it. There it is. So we got our little gradient. And I'll probably have to go to my shading tab for this part. We'll just go world. And we'll make ourselves a little bit of a blue sky. So to do that, let's just add ourselves in a mapping node. That'll help out a bit. And then we'll have to go out. So we can see that we do have our gradient, but we need to flip it around. And I believe we need to do that on the y-axis. Just like that. And, ooh, actually I wonder if it's not going to pop up in the orthographic camera. That is a good question. We can test that out by just moving this. Yeah, oh. Yeah, the orthographic camera might not give us what we need. Let's add a world texture on here. Oh, yeah. So we'll go world. That's not what I want. Oh, environment. Environment texture. So let's just plug our color into the vector of our environment texture and back into there. Nah, it's not going to work either. I don't know. My nodes have been pretty bad recently. I haven't used this version in so long. Maybe if we'll go texture. Let's see if I can. No, that's not working either. Point. So we may, at the end of the day, what I might end up doing is just going into my program and making a texture just to put in the background. And then we could put some clouds and nonsense back there and make it move. But as far as this go, I guess this is not going to be a good idea. So let's just take our blue sky. We'll just, we entered a new dimension. We'll just do a very light blue, kind of that Flappy Bird blue we want. It'll sound like Bob. It's gonna sound like Bob Ross here in a second. And we'll move our little guy over here. And we do have a little bit of a gloss to it, so let's just turn the specular off and the roughness all the way up. There we go. And anything else I want to change? Yeah, we don't need any of that. All right, we'll just leave it there, and that's gonna be good for us. So let's take our sun, put that to like 2. That should be good. And I'm just gonna move my sun. I am gonna show you guys a little bit of a trick, because a lot of people don't know this, but you'll notice that you'll have horrible performance in UPBGE. And a lot of it is because of your sun and the way the sun and the shadows work. Because for some reason, the way the shadow maps in this engine work, it just crashes your PC super quick if you are going a little bit too crazy with the shadows. So later on, I will show you how to do that. And that'll give you about 10, I think between 5 and 10 extra FPS by just changing some settings here. Especially in a world like this where we're not going to have anything move too much. All right, so let's get our little cube guy here moving. So we're just going to, whoops, well, that was cool. Come on, Blender. There we go. I guess I don't need this window, do I? So we're going to change our timeline into a logic brick editor. And if you don't have the logic brick editor, you can just go to your preferences. And if you go, that's not where it is. It's in edit in here. And you can just go to add-ons and then just type in like logic nodes plus, and it'll be right here. Sometimes it's not checked, and so that's why it won't be showing up for you. So just something to keep in mind if you don't know about that. All right, so let's make a new little logic node editor here, and we're going to call this player. And this is probably going to be the simplest part of our scripting here. And we're just going to make sure our cube is selected and apply that to him. If you get this little shield icon, that means that it actually has a user, which is going to be our player. And you can see that our cube is our object that the script is going to be on. And we'll just give this a name of player as well, just to keep things kosher. So let's just go in and add a keyboard. So we'll go keyboard down is what we want. And this one we'll just leave at tap because we're going to be tapping the space bar or whatever key you want to use. So I'm just going to add my space bar in there, and I want to apply, and I'm going to do apply force for this character because we're going to do physics, because the character's going to go up and then he's going to fall back down. So I'm probably going to set this to something like 400 for now, because we'll be able to spam that pretty fast. And we'll see, we'll adjust it depending on how our physics work. So as far as our or our physics go, we're gonna want this guy on, I think I'm gonna do rigid body is what I'm gonna use instead of dynamic. This will give us a little bit of control on the lock, translation, and rotation, and we might use it to actually. It depends on how fancy we want to get. Let's do dynamic for now. And the first thing I want to check is our X and Y axis. So we don't want the character to be floating off to on the X axis. That's going to be coming towards us and going away from us. And we don't want that. So we're going to just go ahead and lock the X axis. So now he's going to be stuck on the Y plane here. So we'll only move this way, and we're not going to move this way. Let's go back into our camera. And I think, yeah, let's do box collisions just to get our collision set up. Nice and easy. And theoretically, it should just start working. So if I press play, that should be all we need to do for... He disappeared. Okay, there we go. Hey, so we got a little bit of a character moving here. So as you can see, we do have it pretty floaty. I think this gravity setting's not quite what I want. So I'm just going to go over to our game properties here, our game physics properties. This is just going to affect the entire world. So since we got that, let's just change this from 9.8 milliseconds, or meters per second. And we're going to change this number to something like 20. Let's see how our physics act then. Oh yeah, we're falling a lot faster. So because we did make the gravity stronger, we're going to want to make it so our character jumps with a little bit more force. So I'm going to set this to 500 for now, and we'll see what that does. So now we're falling, and I think I like that. I might even set that to like 650. So we get a good amount of jump up and still have enough control. And obviously the more you spam the keyboard, the faster he moves. Let's do 700. There we go. Because we want to balance the amount of speed that you have with the amount of fall that you have. Because when you're moving through the pipes, you want the character to be able to kind of maneuver a little bit. We may change this gravity setting a little bit as well. But now that we have that, that's pretty much all we need to do for our Flappy cube. And we'll just actually move out to, we want the Flappy Bird to be 3/4 on the 3/4 mark. There we go. And I think I'm actually going to make this guy, let's go scale, and then we're going to go 0.8 just to make him a little bit smaller. There we go. I think I like that. So now that we have our Flappy Bird, let's actually put our player in a new collection called player just to keep them separate. This will also allow us to just hide him for now while we're working on other stuff. So let's take that and, sorry, I'm not even reading. I got so sucked into the work. Quick question, what does physics steps and logic steps do? So that's going to be the amount of physics calculations that are happening between your frames. So if you have like your timeline here, you'll have a physics step on frame 1, then it might skip frame 2 and then go to frame 3 or frame 4. So that's just the amount of times the physics actually updating and calculating over the timeline or over time. So that's what the steps do. The higher the steps, the more accurate your collisions are going to be, but the more power it's going to take to actually run those physics. So it's something to kind of play with, but these kind of default settings are pretty good, and you could probably even make them less if you want. I don't know. I haven't messed with them too much. Here's your time scale too, so you could make your game go in slow motion if you wanted to. And then your FPS, that's going to be your game FPS. And then a bunch of other stuff that I never touch. Active culling is going to make it so when stuff is off screen, it's not going to be rendering. So you can check that on and off too if you want. Anyways, that's kind of what's going on there. I got to be better about reading the reading the messages. Okay. In fact, just to make it so I can actually see this better, let me just pop that out so I can see the chat. There we go. So if anybody chats, it's bigger and I'll be able to see it. Stop OBS. Let me just place it there. Okay. So let's just, in fact, let me put that there and move you. Okay, that's good. We'll leave that. Alrighty. Now I have both of those. Cool. All right, so now we actually want to make the pipes, and for this part, okay, so some more physics steps, games that focus on speed and stuff through walls. So not going through walls, that isn't just your physics steps. In UPBGE and a lot of the Blender game engines, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your objects aren't too small. So if your scale is below 1, you're going to have a lot of physics issues. In fact, I prefer, or personally, I like to have all my objects be about 1.2 scale, because if they are small, then that's when you clip through walls. And I ran into that a lot when I was getting into my early development stuff. I always found collision issues and collision glitches, and you could phase through stuff, or like your character's moving and you just glitch on the geometry. So make sure that your scale is set properly. And a lot of the times, if you're running into those issues, just select all the objects in your scene and just scale it up 2 times. And then you'll notice the more you scale it up, the better the collisions will be. So usually about 1.2 to 2 times scale is usually what you want for physics. Anyways, alrighty, I have exhausted it. So now let's come in here, and we actually want to make our pipes. So let's do that. So let's just make a cylinder. And for the cylinder, we're going to come in here, and Flappy Bird cylinders are green at the start. So we'll just add a green color. And we'll do something like that. And choose a relatively good green. Glad to help. Oh, glad to help. If anybody has questions, I'm always I'm always willing to answer. All right. So for this cylinder, what we're going to do is we're going to make some different sizes. So we'll make our pipes, and then we'll make a couple different ranging sizes. And what we're going to do is take all those pipes and put them in a collection, and then select each of those pipes from a list. So to do that, let's just start out with making our base model here. And I'm just going to make a loop cut right here and probably go something like that. And I'll just select this. Actually, do I have the right one selected? There we go. And I'm just going to extrude this out a little bit. Good old-fashioned Mario pipe. Now that we have that, I'm just going to select this top one. And our first pipe will probably be about that tall, and we want to make sure that our origin is set to the volume of our cylinder here. Then we shall duplicate. Duplicate is what we want to do. And I'm just going to bring these up because what I want to do is make sure that our empty is going to spawn in the right spot. So wherever our origin point is where we want our empty to be on that line, so that we can keep all of our pipes relative to what we actually want here. So for this, I'm going to select the pipe here, and I'm going to drag this down. And this is going to keep my origin point level with this other one. So let's actually move this across the screen, and we'll probably make 6 different variants. And you could probably make as many variants as you want. Or you can use the same process if you want to do an infinite runner where you have platforms coming at you. So this is a pretty versatile little set. So what we'll do is we'll bring this pipe over here. And ideally, you don't want your pipes to cross too low here because you want enough room for your character to actually go through. So it's good to keep in mind where your pipes are going to be. So for this one, we'll do this as our very short pipe, our shorter pipe. Then we'll drag this one over and we'll make our longest version. So bring that down close to the center, because if 2 of these get spawned next to each other, that's going to be a problem. You'll have like that much of a gap to go through. And then probably just a couple other variants kind of in between some of our other ones. So we'll grab this one and put it kind of like right there. Get some good variety. That way we have more obstacles to go through. And we'll do one more. And we'll put that one right about there. So now that we have all of our pipes, let's just grab these cylinders. And we could probably rename these actually. We'll just do pipe. There we go. And I will just select these ones. I think there's a way to actually rename all these. Blender's horrible when it comes to renaming objects. It's so annoying. I may be able to select... maybe we won't worry about it. We got our main pipe anyways. It's not going to matter because we're not going to be actually calling these by... We're not going to be writing down every name that we want to spawn. We're just going to be selecting them randomly. So it doesn't really matter. Hey, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you. We're making Flappy Birds. So I'm actually going to take this and we're going to start doing our pipe collection. So let's just throw that in there. And this will be nice because we can just hide all these. In fact, we will do that now. Actually, before we do that, let's just get our physics out of the way. We don't want to be running into anything. We want to be running into stuff, but we want our physics to be accurate. So there is a thing that we want to be careful of, because if we do collision bounds on these pipes right now, sometimes because the origin points aren't exactly where they need to be in the center of the object, you're going to have collision bounds that are going past the actual physical geometry. So if we leave collision bounds off, it's only going to select, or it's only going to interact with whatever the geometry we can see is. So it'll be kind of an exact fit. It'll be more accurate. Is this a continuation from the Endless Runner? Kind of, yeah. A lot of the... I got a comment asking about this because I did do a Flappy Birds tutorial way back in the day for, I think, Blender or UPBGE 2.5. And some people wanted to see it again in the newer version. And it's actually easier to make in the newer version. And the other thing is, a lot of the mechanics used to make Flappy Birds can be used for the Endless Runner. So I actually figured some stuff out in here while I was thinking about the Endless Runner. So maybe we'll get back to that project in the future. But this is kind of just its own standalone thing. So let's take this and do visibility. And we just want to hide all inside for now. No, not yet. We want to copy these physics first. So I just wanted to put this on actor mostly. Mostly? Yeah. All right, so let's take this and we're just going to do F3 and copy. And I just want to copy these physics properties. So now all these objects are the same as far as physics go, if I can speak. And then we're going to hide all these objects. So, actually, one more thing before we hide them. Let's just put our empty in the scene. And I'm just going to put this empty just a tad off screen. So that way the pipes, when they spawn... Oh man, I feel a sneeze coming on. It's going to happen. Oh, that's horrible. Whenever you have to sneeze and it doesn't happen. Anyways, for this empty, let's just call this spawner. And we're going to put the spawner in a new collection called spawner so that it's not interacting with our pipes. We don't want to spawn spawners randomly. Okay, so now that we have all these, we can finally make these and hide them. I don't think there's anything else we need them for right now. Now let's make a new script by just clicking this little page icon here. And now that we have that, let's call this spawner. And what we want to do is actually do a on update, like so. And between that on update, we're going to want to space these pipes out. We don't want them spawning in a huge line of epicness. So let's take the on update and do a pulsify. We'll do a pulsify node, put that in there. And this is just going to allow us to have a gap between each update. And for our gap, we'll probably do we'll just do 1 for now. I think we'll probably have to change that. And then we're going to want a simple add, that's app, add object. Then we'll just connect that in there. And for the copy data, we just want to copy it from our empty. And we want to make sure that we actually apply that script to our empty here, so it actually spawns stuff. Now, the add object, instead of just using the eyedropper tool and selecting an object, we want to pick at random. So let's just grab a random, and we're going to want a random item. So with this random item, the value can just go right into the add object. And for the list side of things, we're just going to get names. So we want to get object names. And this is going to allow us to select a collection. And you can see we have green dot to green dot. And the collection we want to select is going to be our pipe. So this is just going to select a random name. I don't know what the random, like what actually is happening inside the random, but it's going to select a random, kind of a uniform random. So we'll have random pipes just spawn in. So, man, I'm just can't even talk right now. Okay, so now that we have all that, in theory, this is just going to work right out the gate. So let's just press play and turn our player on here. Don't make me a liar. Okay, let's see if it spawns. In theory, he said. Let's see what we got going on. We'll close that and open up our console. Okay, we didn't get an error, so that's good. But why are you not spawning is the question. So we got add object, copy data, full life. Oh, that's not spawning. We're not seeing it spawn because it's off screen and we didn't make it move. Yeah, you're right. I just realized that. Yep, there it is. It's working, but we need to actually do one more thing, which is make our pipes actually move. So let's just make these show all inside. And we're just going to give all these a script. So let's just make a new script, and we're going to call this pipes. And the very simple logic we're going to give the pipes is we're just going to say on update. And then on update, we're just going to apply movement. So this is actually going to make our stuff work. Imagine that. You actually do it and it works. So for the movement, it's going to be very simple. We are on the x-axis, we're on the y-axis. So on the y-axis, we'll go point, and we'll just do 0.0. Let's do 0.1 for now and see how that looks. And for the object, we'll just select self. Very simple script. And I'm just going to select all these objects and apply to selected. So these will all have the script. That way when they spawn, they'll move. Okay, so let's hide these now. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else we need to do, but I've been wrong in the past, as we've seen. So let's just press play. Are they moving in the right direction? Nope, of course. So our axis is there, but it's not spawning in the right... Oh, I guess it would help if I put a negative on there, wouldn't it? Okay. There we go. So we got some pipes spawning in, and they should be spawning in random intervals. So now we have a random amount of pipes coming in here. They look a little bit uniform. Maybe not. That's pretty good though. And it's going to be very simple to make the pipes on the bottom come through. It's just a matter of actually duplicating this empty. And we'll put it down here. We may need to change some of this stuff, like rotate the empty, because these pipes are going to be spawning upside down. So let's just rotate, and we'll rotate that on the y-axis 180 degrees. Now let's see if they spawn in right. Hey! So we might adjust some things, because this is a little too easy. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, I mean, that's Flappy Birds right there. Obviously, we need to add a win-lose condition. But I think we might also change some stuff. Let's move this down just a tad. And this will kind of make our pipes a little bit closer together. There we go. So we got some pretty hard ones in here. There we go. Okay, I'm liking that. These might be a little bit closer together than the original game was. I'm not actually sure. I haven't played Flappy Birds in a long time. We may have to look at some reference. But for now, let's just go back to our spawner. And we're just going to set this to 1.2. And that'll space it out just a little bit more. Oh, sometimes the character disappears. That's always fun. I might have to do a set player location just to always spawn at 1 point. There we go. I appreciate the praise, but I am a very humble UPBGE user with enough knowledge to be dangerous. I'll say that. Okay, so we have Flappy Birds in a sense, but we actually need to make it so if we collide with a pipe, we need to make the pipe stop and the whole thing to kind of just stop. And we also need to make the player stop. So first of all, let's just make the player. We'll make a little condition here. It's for our little... Oh, man. Well, I appreciate it, guys. All right, let's make a condition. So we're going to add a property. And this game property, we just want to call alive for now. For now, it is going to be alive. It's always going to be alive. So we're going to set this to a Boolean. So if alive is equal to true, then we're going to be able to move. So we want that to be true by default. So let's just do a evaluate node. So we'll do evaluate property, and the property we want to evaluate is our self. Oh, if you caught it, I put that property on the wrong object. So let me just copy that really quick. Throw it on our player. Our player needs to be alive, not the spawner. So we'll do a Boolean, set that to true. We just want to grab our alive property, and we're going to say Boolean if true. Then we want a and. We'll just slap that between there like so. Put that one on the bottom. We don't need to see the actual properties. So now, if our property alive is equal to true, we'll be able, and the space bar is pressed, we'll be able to jump. So when we press play, we can still jump. But if I disable alive right now, no matter how much I press, it's always going to fall. And we're not going to be able to do anything. Needs to recognize you broke. Well, I appreciate it. Every once in a while my videos float around in the server. I don't know if they'd ever be interested in talking to me though. Alrighty. Okay, so now that we have our alive thing, all we have to do is add a collision in here. So let's just do collision. And we'll take that collision right there. And we want to say the object that is going to be our colliding object is going to be self. And the property we want to collide with is going to be a pipe property. And I want that to be a capital P for pipe. There we go. Our capital pipe. So let's let's go over to our pipe collection here. And we're just going to put pipe in there. And, oops, what happened? Okay. The unfortunate thing is you can't copy properties unless they are visible. So that's one thing. So we'll just grab that, figure out which one we put our property on here, and select it. There we go. I don't understand any of this, but it looks cool. Well, you know what? I do that a lot. I watch a lot of videos of people using other engines and stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but it's pretty awesome. Game development is confusing. It's confusing definitely for a little bit. I think that once you gotta settle in, so to speak, when it comes to game development. But it's fun. I mean, I recommend it. It's a great little hobby. Even if you don't plan on actually making anything or making a game to sell or anything like that, it's fun. It's just fun to work with. So let's do copy, and we're just going to go in here, and we want to copy our property pipes here, or pipe. So that should be the same. Make sure that it is the same, because it is case sensitive, and it is bull honky. So you want to make sure everything's kosher. So when we actually collide, we just want this to be once. You can do each frame if you want something to collide with it or have a collision detection every single frame. But for our purposes, we just want once. So when we collide once, what we're going to do is we're going to set our property. And the property we're going to set is on ourself, and we just want to set alive. So when we die, it's going to be false, like so. So let's just make this a little bit cleaner. So we're just going to Control J our nodes here, and we can do F2 and give this a label, and we'll call this movement. There we go. And this will be Control J, and this will be die on collision. Collision. There we go. Now that we have that, theoretically when we press play, we should have our character stop moving when we actually hit a pipe. So let's just hide all these so they actually spawn. And when we press play, hey, look at that, we got some pipes, and when we run into a pipe, we stop moving and we can't move anymore. So this is great. Let's add a little bit of a ground plane because Flappy Birds does have a ground, and we don't have ground right now. So let's just put that right there, and we'll scale that right here. So what we're also going to do is instead of just adding another collision for like a different collision we want, let's just call this piped as well. So we'll give that the property piped, or pipe. So when we touch the ground, we're gonna die as well. Character will stop moving. Has there been any games released on Steam or other stuff? Game Jolt, itch.io using UPBGE because of Blender Anime, using Blender to make game dev. Yes, there are a couple games that have been released on Steam. In fact, I believe if you just search up like UPBGE or Blender Game Engine on Steam, the games with those tags will pop up. And I do know there's a couple. And they are selling for money. You can sell these games if you want. There is a licensing thing with UPBGE with the GPL, as the GPL license. I believe it's 2.0. So there are some assets and stuff like the Blender files you have to have in your project, and anybody can access those or whatever. But you can still do your own copyright on your assets. So people can't just go in there and steal your assets. You can put a license for those in there. It's just the Blender files themselves. But other than that, you can still sell your game and theoretically make a living off of them. To be the future end. Yeah, Future's End is probably the most well-known of the Blender game engine. And way back in the day, we can't forget about Yo Frankie. That was a game that actually came out for BGE way back in the day. That was one of the first ones to come out. Alrighty, so we added our pipes thing here. So when we actually just fall on the ground, our character can't move anymore. There we go. Okay. So now that we have that all set up, let's actually just make this ground a little bit more pleasing to look at. So we'll just make a little dirt color here. Do a little bit of a brown dirt color, kind of sandy. And then we'll just add a loop cut, very simple. Then let's just select our face here, like so. And we'll add a new material. This new material will be our grass. So we'll just make like a kind of darker green grass color. And it is interacting with the lighting a little bit, and I'm not really a fan of that. But that'll do for now. Now when we press play, there we go. I already touched the ground, so we might have to make it so the character stays still, and then you can jump up, and then it'll start the game. All right, so I think that's pretty good for now as far as this stuff goes. I actually like that. It's looking pretty pleasing already. What about despawning the pipes? But if they gets heavy on the logic, could slow down. You're very right. So in fact, all we have to do is go to the spawner, and where it says life right now, if it's equal to 0, that means that it's never going to die. It's just going to go on forever. What we're going to do is probably just set this to, let's do 120. Wow, I can't type. 120 for now. And we'll just see if they despawn on screen or off screen. And my character, there we go. So we can just adjust this to 300, and they will despawn after their lifespan is ended. So we'll just do this until, okay, so it's spawning just before that. So we'll just go to 360. And that should get us just off screen, because you don't want it to go too far, because after you spawn too many pipes, obviously machines that are a little bit slower will struggle. There we go. It's a endless cycle of pipes. And if we go out of the camera, we'll see that they are just spawning right outside the frame. There we go. Yep. So we just have a endless loop of randomly generating pipes. All right. And maybe we'll get fancy and put a texture on the ground so the ground will actually look like it's moving. That might be cool if anybody wants to see that. Otherwise, it looks good for now. Okay, so when our character hits the ground or hits a pipe, we want the character and the pipes to stop moving. So not just the character, but the pipes also to stop moving. So let's go to, I think what we'll do is we'll go to player, and in our collision part here, what we're going to want to do is send a message. And so send message right there. There we go. And this message is going to be from myself, and we're just going to send this out to the universe, and this is just going to be called dead, I guess. That'll be fine. We'll just copy that. So now that we're sending a message, we should be able to go to our pipes, and we're going to say, here's a problem that I've noticed in UPBGE, especially with the logic nodes. Sometimes they receive, so if we just do message here, so we have the send message, but there's no actual receive message. So I think what we're going to have to do, there is a receive, but I don't know if it's the right one. So let's just put our subject in there. And theoretically, we should be able to do a set property. And on our cylinders here, we're just going to add another condition. So let's just make all the, just to go to visibility, show all inside. Since I want to add another game property, and this property we're just going to call stop, like so. And now that we have stop, we're going to make that a Boolean, and we'll say true is going to be stop and false is going to be go. So if not stop, then do that, whatever. All right, so we're just going to select ourself, since this is going to be on the pipe itself, and we're going to set that to Boolean. Oh, that's set game property. So we'll put that there. And we're going to say set to false. Set to true. There we go. And I think that's all we have to do. Theoretically, it should work, but I don't know if it is. We may have to just run over to the logic bricks and do it in there. So to actually make this work, we're going to want to add a and in here. Put that between there. Move this over. Put that on the bottom. And we want another evaluate property node. So let's just throw that on there. If true, select ourself, select pipe, and we're going to want that Boolean. So if this is equal to false and the on update is working, then it will move the pipe. But then if it is equal to true, then it'll stop working. And the game should stop, theoretically. So that should be it, actually. Let's just turn these pipes off again, and we'll just hide all those. So when we run into something, these pipes should stop moving. And they don't. So this is what I was afraid of. I'm not really sure how the receive works in the logic nodes. I've never been able to get it to work. If anybody knows, then it would be awesome if you could let us all know and we could learn from it. But because this is not the case, we're just going to delete these nodes. We're going to leave the evaluate property, since that is exactly what we... Wait a minute. I made a mistake. Let's go to visibility. Show all inside. I totally forgot to put this stop property on here. So let's just select these. Oh, man, I am the master of forgetting stuff. Don't forget the spawner. It should also stop spawning. That's true. Yes, very true. And we will have to do that as well. Stop. There you are. All right. So now they all have stop on them, which is good. Let's hide those now. We will get to that. So we will have to go and do the spawner. So let's do visibility and hide all inside again. Let's see if this actually works now that I have them all set. I should just be able to touch the ground. So yeah, it's not working. That's fine. We're going to take those and select our pipes here. Make that visible again. It's going to be a lot of this kind of just troubleshooting. Now to do this part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my layout. I'm going to duplicate that and call this logic. Wow. Logic bricks really quick. That way I have an extra window for, that way I don't have to switch between them all the time. So we got our logic bricks. Let's select a pipe. And this pipe, we're going to say message, and we're going to have our dead in there. Then if that is the case, then we're going to set a property or assign a property. And the property we're going to do is stop. And we want this to be true. So assign stop to true. Now all we have to do is select our pipes, F3, and we're going to copy logic bricks, and that'll just apply those logic bricks to all those objects. So if I'm correct, which I hope I am, visibility, if I do the right one, hide all inside, we should be able to touch the ground. Wow, guys, I might not be good at this. Okay, what's happening here? Oh, it's probably in our logic nodes. What did I do? If equal is equal to true is equal to false. I guess we'll wait. It should spawn one that just doesn't move, theoretically. So we gotta cycle through all of them. Well, this is terrible. Why you not work? Why are you this way? Did I choose? You guys see the problem? I totally chose the right property. That would actually do it, wouldn't it? So we could set that back to false. Hey, it works. Imagine that. So it makes me wonder. I'm almost curious, but it's a lot of work to... Well, actually, I might be able to change these. Might not be worth it. It works right now. We're going to do it this way because it works, and I'm not going to worry about changing it. It's fine. Because I had the wrong property, I wonder if the receive actually did work. Makes me wonder. We will find out in another date. But for now, let's just move on. Okay. Try the logic nodes again. Okay, I'll try it again. It's a little bit... I was trying to be lazy, guys. Okay, let's go visibility. Show all inside. And we'll just disable these. There we go. Since they're a lot more computate. The logic bricks, believe it or not, are actually faster than the logic nodes. That is something, it's something that people don't think about. Because the logic bricks are done in C++ and the logic nodes are in Python. And C++ is faster than Python. Just something to think about. Sometimes it is okay to mix them up, depending on what you're trying to do. Anyways, let's just do it the logic node way. But also remember that no matter what you do, if you have a lot of processes happening, sometimes it just doesn't matter if it's inefficient. But we'll do it. We'll make it work. Let's just disable the message there. That'll make it so it all stops working. If I remember what I'm actually using here. Let's do the receive. Like so. Someone told me that the logic nodes can be faster because they are not universal like the logic bricks. I don't know. Not universal. Universal like the logic bricks. Because the logic bricks are oriented to the object itself, whereas the logic nodes are kind of a universal. Like you can use it across more efficiently across other objects. Whereas with logic bricks, it's a lot harder to actually connect other objects. You can connect other objects to the logic bricks, but I don't know. I've used both of them, and I found that the logic nodes can tend to be slower, just from my own previous experience. But it really depends on what you're doing. As I said, sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's all going to be slow. Let's do set property. Again, it's just like personal preference, like whatever you want to use. You'll find that some things are less efficient than others, and it just comes with more time, I guess. Okay, let's put our property in there, or our subject. We want to select ourselves and select the proper deal. Let's hide these again. There we go. And well, it did not work. So I guess that answers that question. No, it doesn't, because guys, I might be tired. There might be something wrong with my brain right now. Okay, it's not my brain. It doesn't work. It's fine. Yeah. Alrighty. My noggin is tired, but we're going to make this happen. We're going to actually make Flappy Birds, and maybe if I feel like it, we might even export the game. And, I don't know, do something with it. But for now, let's move on. So this isn't working. I'm not sure why it's not working. I've always had issues with this receive node. I'm probably doing something wrong. I probably don't know what I'm doing. But that is fine. We are going to make these visible again so I can actually show all inside, please. Thank you. Box select. Turn this back on, because this will work. I know it will work, and it's what we're going to use. There we go. They're all back on now. So now we need to make it so that they stop spawning also when we collide with the pipes. Good for, I recommend asking Grok. Good old Grok. Pretty good at UPBGE Python. You know, I found that to be true. Sometimes if you need to write a quick script, sometimes using Grok or something like that always helps. I would recommend trying to understand the Python, but if you're just trying to do something really quick, sometimes it can be pretty helpful. I would agree. Though I don't know, I've never tried Grok, but I have tried to use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is not very versatile when it comes to UPBGE Python, or at least the API for UPBGE. It's probably not well known enough for it to know. Anyways, what were we doing? Oh yes, the spawner. Hello, spawner. We need to make you have a condition as well. And your condition will be called stop as well. We'll just say stop. It'll be nice and easy to add. Whoa. Import. You're just throwing straight up code in here. Get current scene.own. Sensor message. Sensor positive print. Oh yeah. You know what's funny? I've been using Range Engine a lot. And because I've been using Range Engine, I went back and tried to use the API for UPBGE, and it drove me nuts. I don't know what it is about the API for UPBGE 3.0 Plus, but for some reason, I just don't like it, and I don't like using the own. Like in Range Engine, you don't have to use own or any of it. You can go pretty much the entire time without touching a logic brick, whereas like with this, you do have to use a logic brick, and I just found it really drives me nuts. It's crazy. Couldn't even finish a proper code for the Blender API. Yeah, I found that a lot of the AI, the large language models, just really when it comes to, it's probably not the Python API specifically, but the UPBGE API. It kind of just doesn't do it, does it? Okay. And yes, give me an and, please. We'll put that right between there because we want this to be on up. We want this to affect the on update. We don't really need to worry about the pulsify. We don't want it to go through a cycle and then stop waiting for its command. We want to stop it at the source. So let's do another evaluate. Probably use a lot of evaluate property nodes. They're pretty common. So let's do if true, and we have our stop here. Let's set that to a Boolean, and if stop is equal to false. We're doing the same thing as we did with the pipes. So we'll just come in here and say that's not a Boolean. We need a Boolean in there. If it's equal to false, then we will spawn our pipes, and if it's equal to true, it will stop spawning. So when the game stops, it'll be good. For this, what we may do... yes. Since... Oh, I just realized something. You know how I was talking about that we can use the logic nodes across separate objects a lot more efficiently? I should have been doing that this entire time. So instead of going over here, or instead of doing the logic bricks for the pipes, visibility, let's just select these really quick and do a little number like this here. We're just going to disable this one more time. Let me show you guys something. I didn't register, basically open the register and unregister. Oh, talking about the Python up there. Okay. Just throw that in the editor and see what's going on here. It is weird because when you put it in like just a text block, Python is incredibly hard to read because it's not tabbed properly. But I can see where your hashtag is there, which I believe is talking about this stuff over here. Oh, you got two hashtags. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I gotta stay focused. Okay. Visibility. Let's just hide all inside now that we have those logic bricks disabled. So since those are disabled, what I actually want to do is go to my player. And instead of adding different logic for all those objects, let's go to the player script. We don't even need to send this message, so we'll just delete that for now. We're just going to set... No, I'm dumb. I thought I was smart for a second, guys, and I realized I'm... Oh, you're referencing the AI. Okay. I don't think I'm as smart as I think I am. I probably could have got away with this by putting it all in one script, but set property. Because all these... Oh, but they're all on the same script, but they're all separate objects. I could do this if I was doing these spawned objects. Set property. Well, I realize that I'm not as clever as I once thought I was, because that's obviously not going to work. Let's put all that back. We're going to forget that I ever said anything. Oh, man, what am I doing? Show all inside. I don't think that means what you think it means. Okay, let's hide all that. Visibility. Hide all inside. Now that we got everything working in, let's actually do it the right way. How about that? So we'll just click on this guy, go to our logic bricks, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to just be cheesy boys here. And we'll just put our name in there, and our property, assign, stop, and this is going to be true. Assign that to true. Now we got to remember that when we make our menu, so whenever we have our game over and restart button, what we're going to want to do is actually make sure we set all those back to their original values of false so that everything starts back up again properly. Or we could just restart the scene, I guess, and then it would just all do it automatically. We'll see how, we'll play it by ear. We'll see how that works. But anyways, this should actually be fine. This should work properly because I believe we have our logic nodes set up for the spawner. Yes, we do. Question themselves, ignorant people. Yeah, I mean, that is very true. Running through a single node graph rather than running every logic brick individually by object might be more performance friendly. Yeah, but it's almost doing the same thing, because if you think about it, like, we still have our script applied to all those objects, so it's doing the same thing. It's kind of weird. Like, for example, if I go to my pipe script here, you can see that it's applied to all these objects. Like, all these objects are running this one script, which is going to be the same. Like in Godot, that kind of does the same thing as well. All those objects are going to be referencing that one script instead of having to copy it every time for each individual object. But it's doing the same thing. And then whenever it spawns an object, all those spawned objects are going to be individuals that are running that script. So each individual is still going to be running the logic nodes when it spawns. Because otherwise, if that's not the case, then all of your objects, for example, if you were to say you have a bullet and you're trying to deal damage to an enemy, but you have two enemies running on the same script, if they're not individual script or running the script individually to themselves, when you hit one enemy, both enemies will take damage. So you want those to be independent. To affect the properties on those objects. Yeah. And I'm trying not to run into too many issues. I think that's what I was thinking. I think we're on the same page there, because what I wanted to do is just set the property from the player script. But in order to do that, I would need to set the property for all these objects, which I guess is not terrible. It's just really messy looking, and I didn't want it to be too messy. So yeah, we could do that, where we just set all those objects properties from the player. But then you have like 9 nodes all lined up. Well, it's not a terrible idea. It's not bad. I mean, you totally could do it in this context. We don't have a ton of stuff that we have to worry about. Maybe in a bigger project, it would be a problem. But in this case, you could totally do that. But this game is small enough, and I don't think it's going to really matter all that much. There are better things we can do, but it doesn't mean we're always going to do it. Maybe we will. We might change it, depending. We'll see. If I get if enough people say change it, then we'll change it. So speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, let's move on. So we want to, in fact, just for that, we're going to go and do it to our spawner. So we have our spawner. Let's just go to the player script. And all we have to do is do a set, and we'll do property node, and we'll just drop it in here, put it under here. So when colliding, we'll set the property of our spawner, and we'll set our stop to true. So yeah, this is how we could totally do it. We just select all the objects individually. It does limit us a little bit, but for this it'll be fine, since we only have 2 objects and they don't get removed or anything like that. I also need to make sure I put stop in here and make that a Boolean. There we go. Now that we have that, theoretically that should work. So when we press play, we'll actually go out and look at our spawner. There we go, and it stopped spawning. So actually this is already pretty functional. As far as the game goes, what else do you need? I still think it's a little bit too easy. We might adjust some of these. Get some pretty long stretches. I mean, I guess there's some tougher spots in it. Another thing that we can do. Oh, there it goes. They're disappearing now. Oh no. So we might have to change that. Right now we can't control when they despawn. They'll just despawn after their life ends, which means the pipes will disappear. So what we might end up doing is just in the pipe script itself. So let's go to the spawner and just disable this for now, because we want them to disappear after they leave the screen, but we don't want them to disappear when they're on screen while the player's just in the restart menu. So we're going to have to be a little bit clever here. What we could do, theoretically, is just put a cube right here, and we'll just scale that up, make it nice and big. Put it right there. And we'll make this a dynamic object so it has collisions that are actually accurate. And we don't want it to go anywhere, so we'll just lock the translation. So it'll just be hanging out back here. And all we have to do is go to our pipes. We'll just add a collision right here. There we go. And we'll say once the object we want is ourself, and the property is going to be called end. When that happens, we will just simply end the object. I guess it's called remove in here, isn't it? Remove object. There we go. So that's what we'll do there. Let's take that. We'll just remove ourselves. And the object, I guess we could do just, if you wanted to, you could just do this too. And it's a little more versatile. But we'll just remove self since the script is on our self. So it'll be good. It'll be fine. Let's put these in a world collection. Just so they're not hanging out there. There we go. Don't have to worry about changing anything there. Let's just check this out and see if it works. Oh, that means I actually have to live long enough. We'll just fly out for now since we can do that. We'll have to fix that. We can't let the player just leave. So that's not working. Why are you not working? Go away. Please disappear. You are not disappearing yet. So I guess we need to go to our cylinder and change some stuff. The AI overlords recommend using logic bricks instead of logic nodes for both performance and for a bridge for functionality not available in logic nodes. That so that's not, it's kind of there, but sorry, my brain fried for a second. I had to process this comment. Performance, yes, for logic bricks. Bridge for functionality not available in logic nodes. I don't think that's true, because there is more functionality in logic nodes than logic bricks. So I don't believe that would be the case. AI, you got half a point on that one. What's the physics on the cube for ending the pipes? It's dynamic. It's dynamic, actor, and then on box collision. I believe it's because sometimes there's an issue here. Let's see if these are on active and static, but theoretically all I have to do, sometimes this collision issue or like there's some weirdness in this version. So all I'm going to do is go over here, and for the pipes as well, we're just going to make these dynamic, make sure that they're collisions. You get more accurate collisions if it's on dynamic, and then we'll just lock the translation. Except we don't want to lock it on the x-axis. Hopefully. Let's see if they'll actually move if they're locked. Okay, they still do. So we will lock all those. Otherwise they'll float off, and we don't want that. That would be bad. So theoretically this should work now. Let's just disable this again. Not yet though, because I still need to copy my physics properties. There we go. Now we can hide them. Hide all inside. Fly up into the abyss. That way our pipes can just move without us dying. Still not working. What is wrong with you? I probably did some... Oh! Guys, remember, I don't know what it is about streaming, but I am so bad at doing stuff. Talking and working at the same time. I'm so bad at it. I totally forgot to put the property on this cube that it's actually trying to interact with, which is end. No wonder it's not working. Let's just take that. Yeah, there we go. Visibility, hide all inside. This should work now that it is actually... Why not just use the icon to hide them all? Because it doesn't... Did I? Oh. There we go. The reason I don't do that, because I don't believe as far as spawning objects that I'll show you. There we go. Now our pipes are despawning properly. So, I think what you mean... Wait, what? Just use the collection eye icon to hide them all. So, here's what happens. Say I have my visibility, and we'll just show all these. See how it has the eye icon? You can close that and it'll hide them, but it's not good for spawning. So you can see that the objects are no longer spawning. There's still collisions. It's still thinking stuff is there, but it just makes them invisible, but it's still in the scene. So you want to make sure that all these objects are invisible. So that, or not rendered, I should say. So visibility, hide all inside. That way you won't run into spawning issues and weird glitches. Otherwise it'll spawn the object, but you won't be able to see it. It's odd, very odd. So anyways, our collisions are actually working, so our stuff is despawning. So theoretically, I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to try playing the game. Oh, see how tight that is? Let's see if I can get through there. Oh, nope. There we go. And they're not going to despawn in the screen. So we can have our little game over. And it'll work great. That's super cool. I mean, what else do we need? I mean, I guess we need a menu, don't we? We need that. Okay, for game over. Yes. Yes. Can you try holding Alt and click the eye icon, see if it will work? Oh. As far as making them all visible, no. Visibility, show all inside. Let's try that out. Nope. Oh, don't do that. There we go. Everything's back to where it was supposed to be. We're good now. Make sure that I didn't. Okay, that's still there. Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff that should work, but it doesn't. Control to isolate the collection. Shift to set inside collection and objects. Oh, you can shift click it. Well, that's helpful, isn't it? That's good to know. So yeah, if you want to make all of your items inside there invisible, just shift click the collection. Good to know. Thanks. We figured something out. I appreciate it. Okay, so we have character fly around. We actually need to add a border here. We don't want the character to fly out off the screen. So let's just take our ground here and we'll just put that slightly off camera. There we go. Should the character die if it runs into the top of the screen, or do you think we should just make it bounce? I'll leave that up to you guys. But for now, let's move on. So we're gonna do UI, I guess. Now we're gonna make it so when you die, it's going to have the game over pop up. So to do that, let's just do scene. We're gonna call this main. So that'll be our main scene. Let's just add a new one. We're going to copy settings. It's dark in here, guys. It doesn't matter really, but we'll just add the world in there. There we go. So this is a perfectly empty scene. Let's just go in here, add a camera. Oops, no, hide the camera. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, everything's funky. There we go. Okay. Let's turn that to orthographic, and I think we set it to 35. So we'll have that there. Now let's add a text. Oh, where am I? There we go. Rotate X or Y 90. Okay. So this is going to be our game over. I think we're good now. Let's make that do. Let's make that do, guys. This will be our game over. And we'll change this font too. It's not a bad font. It's just not what I want. It's not the font I want. Okay. Let's do middle and we'll do center. There we go. So we're centered in our camera. And we'll put the game over up here. Maybe we'll do a little animation so it'll go boop boop. It'll pop in. It'll just drop into the scene. So let's do this and we'll say space. Ooh, space to restart. Okay. There we go. Maybe we'll have that go boop boop. Definitely gonna want a font that is representative of this. So probably like a pixel font if I can find it. Anyways, if we press play, we got a game over. So that's cool. Let's actually make this pop up though. And perhaps we'll do a little animation. How about that? Let's go into our animation editor here. And I just want this to start up here. There we go. Start up here. Go to frame 0. Insert a location keyframe. And we'll just make this like 60 frames. That'll be good. Maybe 35, 40, 30. There we go. If I can make up my mind here. Set that back over there. And we'll add our next keyframe, location. So now it kind of goes, woo, woo. Okay, I need to change something. Well, are you? Excuse me. Well, there we go. 60 frames, since that's what our game's running at. So this will be closer. Let's give it a little bounce, though. I think we need a bounce in here. T, and we'll do a bounce. Boom, boom. Game over. That should be good enough. It's like a... okay, fine. I'm not... we're good. We're going to make it work. Okay, back to logic. Let's go over here. We're going to make a new script. This is going to be my game over... Oh, can't have spaces. What am I talking about? Game over... It'll be my game over script. That'll be fine. Let's just apply this to the camera because I'm just going to affect all this stuff. It doesn't need to be on any specific object. So I'm going to say on int, like so. And I just want to say when the scene initializes, I want to play my animation, like that. And we'll be able to actually change the speed of the animation if we don't like how fast it's going or how slow it's going. The object we want to affect is going to be our text, and we want our text action. We could probably change the name of that action if we went into the action editor, but this will be fine. We're not working with a whole lot of stuff, and we just want to play this animation. So our end is going to be 30, and our start is 0. We don't have to worry about any layers. Here's our advanced settings, so stop when done, speed, and we can change the blend if we were doing something fancy like with armatures, but we don't have that. So when we press play, there we go. So it'll just give our little game over there. It has a little bit of a stutter because we're just initializing the game, but when we're actually playing and it happens, it'll just boop, boop. It'll look good. Trust me, it'll look good. It'll look great. So since we got that, let's go over to our space to restart, but let's just make we have multiple objects in here. So this is going to be called our game over text. Like so. Move that over here. And we just want to add in a on update, because what I want is for the space to restart to blink in and out. So on update, grab that. We'll do a pulsify like that. And on this, let's see if this will actually work. Let's grab a visibility. So we'll set the visibility of our text, and there should be a toggle. Maybe I could do a toggle. Do I have a toggle in here? Toggle property. Aha, I know what I'm going to do. Game property, the object. Let's give this object here. We're going to say add game property, and we're going to say blink, like so. Make that a Boolean. I love Booleans. I use so many Booleans in my games. It's great. I recommend trying out Booleans at least once in your life. Okay, text to our space to restart. We'll check blink. So every time this elapses, it's going to set it to on or off, because it's just going to be toggling it on and off like a light switch. And over here, we're going to do a evaluate property. And instead of having two evaluate properties, what I'm going to do is just add a not in here. So we'll say not. So when it's not equal to the value that we want, then it'll set our visibility. So we'll have two outputs here, and this not will say if true, then it'll go into this one. Kind of just allows you to make a simple little loop right here. And we'll go object, and the object we want to select is our text, blink, and we'll set that to a Boolean. So we'll say if true, then it's going to make the text visible. we'll just select our text for both of these. And when it's not equal to true, it's going to set it to not visible. So theoretically, when we press play, let's see. Hey, there we go. It's a little bit slow. Actually, you know what? Nah, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's just popping in and out. So it's not as good as if if it's fading in or out. 0.3. That's too fast. 0.6. Mm. 0.7. I might need your guys' help on this one to see what it actually looks good. Okay, I think we'll leave it there for now until other things change. Now let's change our font. So if we go over here, let's just go back to our font settings here. Font. So for the regular, I'm just going to select something out of my fonts. For Flappy Bird, do I have anything that says pixel in it? Oh, you know what I can actually do? 1 second, guys. Let me drag that over here. Desktop. I got my pixel emulator font right here. Perfect. And I can just select that again. Hey, look at that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we have our game over and our space to restart. So since we have that, we'll probably have to make a new script for our camera in the main scene, and that's going to be toggling our game over on and off, so when we actually need it. This is main 01. We want this to be our game over scene. We'll just name it that. Go back to our main. Let's select our camera and make a new script, and we're going to call this main scene. We'll just call this scene. There we go. And we'll just apply that to our camera. So when we get our... Yes, okay. Let's add a... Okay, I'm getting a little bit of ahead of my... I'm getting ahead of myself right now. So for our scene, the first thing we want to do is add a property here. So we're going to do another Boolean, and we're going to call this game over. Game over. And we'll set that to a Boolean, as we say. And what we're going to do is use the same method that we did from our player script, where we're just going to change that Boolean in the player script to when we collide with an object, it's just going to give us our game over. So all we have to do here is add a evaluate property node. Man, I'm getting slow, guys. I'm getting slow up in here. And if this is true, then what we want to do is do a scene. And, actually it's a... Let me figure it out. I got this. Camera. Set active camera. Set FOB. Orthographic. World to screen. Screen to world. Collections. Set. Overlay collection. Ooh, man. I might not actually have this. I can't. Oh, I just tried to do an overlay scene. Isn't there a way to do that, though? Camera. Well, that's a problem. Did I think of something that I would... Set scene, load scene, get scene. This is the right version. 3.6.1. Oh, am I one version behind of what I thought I was using? Okay. I might have forgot how to do something. I might have to look it up. Gotta go to my channel to figure out that's not the right one. Okay. I might have locked myself out of my YouTube. Nope. We're good. We are dandy. Let's go over here. And I should have my... I really just need to look at how to make a cutscene video. Where is that? Cutscenes. How did I do this? Okay, you guys, I won't attack you with my terrible voice here. How did I do this? Well, we may just have to forget about it. Wait a minute. Set scene. Oh, I just used a set scene there, but I don't want... okay. I made a mistake. We're just going to have to live with it, guys. It's fine. Okay. So, I was thinking of the wrong version, because in 2.79 and around that version, so like Range Engine, UPBGE, Legacy, you can do an overlay scene. So this is how you would do it in that. But because we can't do that in this version, we have to use collections to do it, which is a big pain in the rear end, especially since I just did all this. Let me see if I can copy this. So I'm just going to Control V that. Let's go back to the main. And I'm just going to go into my orthographic view here again. And let's just see if I Control V. Okay, so I can spawn all that stuff in here. We're just going to put this in a new collection, because unfortunately, this is the way we have to do it. Can't do it the other way. So we'll put the... Obviously, we're not going to see it. It's not going to interfere with anything. It's just a little bit of a pain. So we'll call this Game Over. It's fine. It'll work. And since that's not there, I guess all we have to do is go to our Objects, Scene. We're going to go to Collections, and we're going to Set Overlay Collection. So this is what ended up taking over the old place of the set scene or set overlay scene. And it's kind of unfortunate, but we won't complain about it. Camera is going to be ourself, and the object we want to, or the collection we want to spawn, is our Game Over. So now we can go over here, Game Over. We're going to make this Boolean like this. So if Game Over is equal to true, then we're going to set our Game Over overlay. And then we'll have to make sure that we disable this overlay whenever we want to play the game again. So let's go back over to our player script. Yes, okay, player script. And where our set property is here, I'm just going to go right into this done, from this done to the condition, and I'm going to select my camera, and I want my Game Over, so we'll set that to true. So now, after all of that, believe it or not, guys, I haven't saved once. I'll just save that for now. Oh, the Game Over just starts. What did I do? Okay. Why are you like this, spawner? Oh, it's... No, not that. Scene. If it's equal to true, yeah. What... Yes. Why are you dropping it over on me like this? If you're equal to false, you still pop in. What is wrong? What have I done? Okay, set that to false. It is fine. This is fine. Okay, we need to actually see what's going on here. We're not messing around. So yeah, it's equal to false, but I did apply this camera, right? Yeah. Oh, why must you do this to me? We don't need that anymore. You're not a part of this, are you? Oh, I have Game Over 1 in here. That's not cool. Okay, we need to clean some stuff up. Recursive unused. Ah, still didn't get rid of it. That's fine. We're getting into the part where it's getting interesting. That is for sure. Oh, this would be the one that we need to get rid of. And that this is going to have our text object 2, which is good. Yep, okay. So we need to make sure that this one is selected and this one is disabled. For sure. It's still kind of a problem. Whoa, that's kind of impossible, isn't it? Okay. Oh, my... Oh, guys. That is crazy. I totally just didn't... I didn't grab the text and bring it over. Oh, man. Okay, bring that over here. Actually center this up again. Select this one. Do that. Bring this back up. Turn that off. Bring this back up. There we go. Nope. Oh, it's because of my animation. Animation. So I need to... Oh, we gotta fix things. This is fine. Put that there. Actually, frame 0 is going to be up here. Do our location properly. And then just for now, we're going to grab that. Paste that there. Bring this back down. New location keyframe. And then add our bounce back in. Ba-boom. There we go. Okay. Now that we have that all sorted out, it shouldn't pop up. Oh, it's there because I need to select my camera. We're getting into the tough part. This is where things get fun. And I always mess up. Okay, so the game over setting to true is working properly. Scene game over is right. So if that's equal to true, then set the collection. Oh, I actually need to select my proper collection, which is going to be this one. Oh. There we go. Oh, that's weird. Let me check the console really quick. Make sure collection already added. So it's... Oh, we want to make sure we put a once in here. So here's a problem that you may run into. When you add a collection, you want to make sure that you only add it once. Or add an overlay collection, because otherwise it'll slow the game down and things get really bad, really ugly. That's what am I talking about? Okay, anyway, oh, come back. So we just want a once in here. So it's going to do, if true, add once. So now we can play the game. We'll just get to the pipes really quick. Run into a pipe, and we get our game over. So we do have a little bit of an issue here where the game over is adding as an overlay, but it looks really dull and we can't really see it. So let's just go in over here. This is just a simple, we just need to give this a material, new material, and we just want that to be an emission. No bloom or anything, just pure emission. Probably didn't have to do two materials for that. So let's see how that looks. Game over. Getting some artifacting, which is not cool, but I'll set that to like 5. Grab this other one too and set it to 5. Make it a little bit more pronounced. That looks a lot better. Okay, so we get a little bit of artifacting. You can fix your artifacting issue pretty easily. If you go to your render settings here, a lot of the times it's because of the samples per frame. So we're going to set that to 2. Just remember that when you set the samples per frame higher, it's going to slow your machine down more. But I think setting it to 2 is going to be totally fine. Yep, and that gets rid of most of our artifacting. It'll also make the game just look a little bit smoother as far as graphics go. Blam. Okay. That's actually pretty cool. So now we need to make it so we can press the spacebar to restart the game. And when we do press the spacebar, we need to. So what we'll do is this time we will have a separate evaluate property. So if it's equal to true, ooh, yeah. If it's equal to true, then we're going to set our collection, and we want to add an and right here. In fact, actually, we might just be able to, yes, perhaps so. We may just do it this way. So we'll do that. Then let's add in a keyboard node. So we'll do key down. And this is going to allow us, so when we press the spacebar once, and this is equal to true, then we'll just be able to get right back into the game. So we'll actually want to remove our overlay. So remove, and we want our collection. Remove overlay collection. We do want to add a once in here as well. Like so. There we go. And the collection we want to remove is going to be our game over collection. And we're going to, oh, do we have to do that? Let me try just resetting the game. Because I think for this we'll just, how many of you guys want to see me do a save file where you can save your score? Let me know if you want to see that. It's a little bit it'll take a little bit of doing, but if you want to see it, then I'll totally do it. Otherwise, let's just do a simple reset. Whoa. Is that not what it's called here? Game. Load file restart is what it's called. So if we restart, I don't believe we need the remove collection. We'll leave it there just in case, but restart the game. So we're playing. Everything's totally hunky-dory. Now the game stops. Press space. Oh, okay. We've got some bugginess going on here. Let's try that again. Oh, also, no wonder. Let's do a set, because we want to make sure that we set that property back to false. Set property. Leaderboard, high scored, type thing. Yes. Yes. If you want a leaderboard or a high score, I guess you could do a leaderboard kind of entails that it would be online, but theoretically, if you know how to use the, let me see, the networking nodes, you're totally able to do a leaderboard that is online if you have the know-how to do it. So that's in there. If you ever want to try doing that on your own time. I have no idea how it works, but I know it's there. You could do a multiplayer game, theoretically. Okay, so what we're going to do, instead of that once, we just want to get rid of that since we're not doing the overlay collection. Get rid of that. And we're going to set our self, and we want the game over. We're going to set that Boolean back to false. So we do a full reset. Theoretically, the restart game should already do that, but ooh. We gotta make sure the character doesn't fly into the screen. So end the game. Okay, let's see if it works again. Obviously we had a stutter there. That might just be the... Well, okay. So I don't think I saved. We might have to look at this auto save file and see how much we lost here. Let's just we have that. Oh, okay, so we saved. I'm pretty good about saving, but you never know. Okay, so that just crashes the game. That's good to know. I wonder why. Obviously, I can't look at my console because it's not going to give me any good information because it crashed. Let's not set the property, and let's just try restarting the game and see if it's just the game. Okay, it might have just been because we were trying to set a property at the same time. Game over. Restart. Woohoo. I think what we'll do is make it so when it restarts, because we have that stutter. So obviously, like, that could be unfair for somebody. They restart the game and they just fall and die over and over. And it crashed again. It's really not liking that. Whatever. Ooh, let's save after we delete that. Whatever is going on with this restart game node, it is not a fan. Let me add a delay really quick. So we'll say delay, and we'll do like 0.1. So we can't spam it. Okay, so we'll have to wait a second before we can actually press it, and we'll see if that crashes again. Yep. Well, good to know the restart logic node is buggy. For some reason that crashes. We may have to do something else. Otherwise, here, what we'll do is detach links. We won't have that anymore. what we'll go ahead and do on this is select our camera. We're going to go to the tried and true logic node, or the logic bricks here. My old friends, and we'll just add our property back in here, and we'll say keyboard. We're going to do spacebar, tap. We're going to set this if it is equal, game over. If it's equal to false, no, if it's equal to true, we want that to be on tap as well. And if that is the case, we're going to go to game right here, and we want to restart the game. Let's see if the logic node, or logic brick I should say, will actually work theoretically. Save our progress. Okay. All hail the logic bricks. Yeah. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see if it crashes our game. Well, it do not be working. Why is that the case? Oh, maybe I just had to... Okay, are we good? Game over. And it crashed. Well, I'm sorry, overlords of AI. It's just... I'm not here to dog on UPBGE, but I think there's probably a reason that I decided to go with Range Engine. I mean, it has its own issues, but, you know, it just be one of those things. It could also be the overlay. Like, I might just run this console in the background here and see if I'm getting some errors. Okay. So it doesn't look like I'm getting errors. It does restart like the whole console restarts when I do the restart node. Let's try that again. Oh, it got rid of my... Come back! I wish I could show you guys the console at the same time, but I have to put it on my other monitor so I can... Okay, now it's not working at all. Okay, save. Let's see. Game over again. Oh, error, stop. Let me see. I found it, guys. I got it before it crashed and lost everything. Yeah, Blender being Blender. It is one of them. So I got this error. We got to decipher this really quick. Context scene.logic node settings.tree compiled equals status. I'll pretend I understand this. Has no attribute logic node settings. Is this a crash from our logic nodes? Has nothing settings. Let me disable that really quick. I'm going to see if it's this overlay collection node. Obviously, we're not going to have our thing pop in here. Okay, I'm going to have to put that over so I can watch it before it crashes. Okay, we restarted. Oh, interesting. How did you come back? Oh. I lost it. I didn't catch it in time. Okay. So, for some reason, even though I disabled it, it was still trying to run. So, why were you doing that? What is your malfunction in this current junction? Okay. That shouldn't affect anything. Clear cache. I wish it was that simple. Clean up, unused, yeah. We'll purge 2 of those bad boys. I didn't mean to unpack it. There's nothing to pack in here anyways. Okay. Should be clean now. Everything For now, let's just delete this. Yes. You're not going to do anything. Okay, restart. Ah, it came back. What? Why? Okay. Why are you coming back? Why is this a thing? Why am I struggling with this? So you're restarting. Let's just go here. Okay, restart. Crash. Okay, so it's not that collection. It's not the collection node that's doing it. Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. Add overlay. Okay. Let's try this again. Take 2. Camera. Collection. Game over. Put that in there. Okay. Obviously, it's going to crash again. I'm not going to trust it. Here's another thing we can test, I guess. This might make it a little bit easier. Let's just do a standalone start. That way, the whole thing doesn't crash. And we should get a little bit more detail. Oh. You going to crash on me? Okay. It doesn't seem to be crashing in the standalone. Game over. Oh. Oh my goodness. It's all over the place. So it seems to work fine in the standalone player. It's just in the engine where it's buggy. Okay, so that seems fine. Check our console. Doesn't look like we have any errors. So it looks like we're totally fine. We'll just forget about it, guys. It's just broken in the engine. I might just have to do standalone start from now on in order to have it not crash. Or just be aware that it'll crash. What was I doing? Okay, so... Oh, yeah, I was doing... Oh, wait, I think I already did it. Yes, I already did it. It's already... So we got the restart working. We'll just pretend it works. That's a game, dude. Yeah, that is a game. That's like... That's Flappy Birds right there. Is there any more, like, mechanics to it? I know we could get, like, crazy and make it so, okay, when you progress... Oh, score! We gotta do a score. We can't go without a score. Let's add in a... Need high score. Yeah, we need a high score. So let's add a text in here. We're gonna make our little score deal. Other than that, I mean, this is pretty much a game. What is happening here? Rotate on the Y. There we go. And we'll just make this a 0 for now. Might as well go ahead and throw our center and middle. And then let's go to our font and put on our pixel regular font. Scale that bad boy up. I think it was on this side, right? Was the score on this side? I can't remember. And we'll want to give this a new material, and we'll just put on our fancy white material here. Okay, we're good. Don't get too carried away. I won't try to play the game over and over. I'll just restart and do it. I can get one good run out of it without it crashing. I also want to make sure that this is not going through, so I want that to be closer to the camera. And since we're orthographic, we don't have to worry about it too much. So just have to figure out a good size for it here. Ooh, should I put like a little pipe next to it? I think the original game might have a pipe next to it. We might see about doing that. Just for funsies. I also want to make sure that this is in a new collection called UI, since this will be our UI that we're working on. And text is going to be fine. We might call it UI text, just for fanciness. UI text. There we go. we'll actually spend more time labeling stuff. Okay, so for the UI, I think question is, how do I want to do that? So I need to actually, maybe it's just a matter of putting, so I need to find a way to detect when the player goes between the pipes. Because that's the whole goal of Flappy Birds, is like, how many pipes can you jump through before you eventually lose? So in order to do that, because we're spawning random sized pipes, how am I going to figure out when the character's in the middle of it? Oh, I could do a raycast and say, and when it detects the pipe above it, above the player. Okay, let's try that. We're going to try being fancy about it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then that's fine. Or I could do a raycast from the pipe to the pipe below. That's another idea. And just say whenever the player collides, 2 ways we can do it. We can do it, we'll do it through the pipes. We'll do it through the pipe script here. We'll just come over here. Let's add a raycast. Like so. And the origin, we're going to add in a get world position here. Throw that on there. And we just want to get from ourself, or from the pipe, and then we want to go down. We don't have to worry about too much. Oh, we do, because it'll go down, but it'll try to... I'll show you what I mean. You'll see in real time my conniption here. So we'll visualize that. We want this to happen on update. Like so. And we'll visualize it so we'll see the line coming down. And on the z-axis, we'll go negative, and let's do 3 units. Oops. Wrong thing. 3 units. So when we press play, we should see a line. There we go. Yep. So that was the problem. It's going to have that origin point that's going to be on the absolute coordinate for -3. And we want it to be on a relative coordinate. So that's going to be a thing. So in order to do that, what we're going to have to do is figure out how to get the position of the object below it, or the pipe that's directly below it. And in order to do that, I guess I could add a collider that's attached to the cylinder. So when that collider collides with the pipe below it, it'll say, hey, you're my friend, and then apply it to that one. That might be a little bit much, but we might see. There's many ways we can do this. Otherwise, how can I do that? Okay, let's make these visible. We're going to try something crazy. It may not work, but it may work. And if it does work, we'll be doing good things. So let's just add in a cube. This cube will be the friend of the cube that's below it. And in order to be that friend, we need to make sure that this is a dynamic ghost, lock its transform, box collider, and we're going to parent this one to this here, keep transform. So whenever this pipe moves, it's going to bring this collider with it. And since they're all moving at the same rate, they will just be parented to each other, theoretically. So if that's the case, then I can grab the... Oh, that's going to hurt my brain to do, though. Because I'll have to grab each one of these. Each one of these will have its own. How? Maybe not a raycast. Maybe we will do the cube option for each one of them, but we're going to go old-fashioned. Perhaps. Oh, this is the problem with these things. Spawn copies of invisible colliders with each pipe. That might... Yeah, you're right. That might just be the... And then I could spawn them at the same rate. Yeah. The height of the board. Yeah. Okay. I think I know exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you that you just gave me the idea of a lifetime. Okay. This is going to be our score spawner. And this is literally just going to spawn a cube that's going to be like that tall. We might make it a little bit skinnier so that the player has to go between the pipes, obviously. And this will just kind of go at the same rate as the pipes and go all the way across, and each one of these will have it. And what we'll do is just delete it after the player collides with it. So that way it's not just, Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do. So we'll just set that to dynamic. We'll lock our transforms here. Give it collision bounds. The elegant solution. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes simple is better. You don't need all this crazy logic to do stuff. You just do it this way. Okay. This will be our score underscore, underscore collider. There we go. Score collider. And we'll just make that invisible. We'll come over here. And we want to go to our spawner. And we'll spawn this as well. And this will be simple. We don't need any of that. We can just go out. And we want this to spawn our object of cube04, which we'll give a name. We'll say score. There we go. And its lifetime. Oh yeah, for these, we will just get rid of them after, I think it was 360 is what we wanted to do. So these will just run out of life eventually, which will be fine. Because they will get deleted. We'll make it so they get deleted when they collide with the player anyways. So maybe it won't matter. Maybe it will. No, it won't. I guess we don't. Oh yeah, we need to add the, we might not need to do the life on it because player has to go through the pipes to win. And they will all get deleted after colliding with the player. So it's kind of a non-issue. I think we'll set it to 0. None of them are going to escape the player if everything's going right. Okay, let's do that. So for the actual logic for our score collider, let's go back to the pipes because we're just going to give it the same logic as the pipes. Collision, then end. So instead of that, though, we will change some stuff. Maybe a copy of it. Yes. I know what I'm doing, I swear. So first of all, we want to grab... Actually, we just want everything. We want it all. Dashboard. One collision. Oh yeah, we can just use. Okay, sorry, I'm in thought mode right now. I totally zoned in for a second. We got this. We're gonna make it happen. For this, let's just make that visible again. And to start off with, let's just apply that. So it should start moving theoretically. It doesn't have this. Oh, I need to give it the properties again. So we'll give this instead of pipe. We're not gonna give it pipe because it doesn't need it, right? Okay, stop. We will give it stop though, and we'll make that a Boolean. Since we do need that to actually make it move. There we go. Oh, it didn't. That's interesting. What? Yeah. Why are you still moving? I don't need you. That's strange. Okay. We're going to do it this way. Control C. Make a new script. Call it score. Score underscore add. There we go. Paste that. We got stop in here, so that's fine. So if stop is equal to false and on update, we move. Then, instead of collision with end, we're going to say collision with player. So we need to actually grab this property and click on our player. We're going to add this to our player, which will be fine. So, how am I setting the thing? Player. We have a bunch of stuff going on here. Oh, yeah. So in order, I actually need to click on our pipe again, and I need to copy the logic bricks from that, because I forgot that we added logic bricks. So that's why it wasn't working. So we'll just go copy logic bricks, which should have all of our stuff. If I go over here, we can just check it out, make sure that everything's right, and it is. And we'll go back, save our progress, because we're not noobs, right? We will hide the pipes, and we will hide this guy as well. Oh, that's right, I forgot. I controlled Z'd and killed it. Control Z'd and it died. Let's try that again. Okay. Okay, you still have the thing, which is good. You have the empty. Oh, that's right. The empty is in the wrong collection. This needs to be in my spawner collection. There we go. The only one with a name. So now we need to go back to logic bricks here. Go over to our... That's game over one still, I guess. Score add. We want to actually make sure that you are applied there. Get rid of pipes. We don't need pipes on there. So now, score add is there. And we want to just make sure that it actually works when we collide with it. Hey, there we go. So we want to make sure that this is invisible. Well, we're going to set this to wire to make it invisible. But we also want to make sure that it's not going to collide with our player. So let's just make that... Oh, we could also set it to invisible here. So we can do ghost. We'll do invisible as well, but we want to see it. So now... Oh, if I don't end the game. Let's just play it like we are going to play the game. There we go. And just to make it fancy, let's do a standalone start. Because we're cool like that. Oh, I guess it helps if I'm actually in the camera. Try that again. Round 2. Okay. Ooh, almost got me. Did I make it invisible? Did I make that? No. Oh, it's not spawning. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I know what I need to do. I'm just not doing it. Oh, it is adding score. So what's your problem? Why are you not doing your thing? You gonna spawn it? Oh, copy data from spawner. Try that. Okay, that's working now. There's a little bit of a discrepancy here with the sizes. I might have to figure something out. Oh my goodness. There's a few bugs we need to fix, but I think it should be enough to where it's going to be... Yeah, it's still going to work. Let's make it so when we actually collide with it now, that it's going to update our score. So to do that, let's go score add. And we're going to set... Oh, actually modify property this time. Bring out a new node. So we're going to end object when we collide, but we're also going to add 1 to our score. And the object we want to add to is going to be our UI text, which we need to come over and add a game text property, or a text game property instead of an actual property. And we're going to set this to integer since we want to add a number to it. So we're going to add 1 to our score. Let's see if that works. Oh, and it added 2. So this is a thing. Sometimes it's trying to add it, or when you collide, it says once, but it's going to try to loop twice because it's looping so fast. So we want to just do a once on here and set that to repeat so we can actually do it over and over. So let's see if we can properly do this now. That's a 2, 4. Wow, you're still... Why are you updating by 2s now? What is your deal? Ooh, we should add a total score to it as well. That might be cool. So in the game, when you have the game over, it'll give you your score, your high score. Okay, 0.5. Why are you doing this? Let me see if that does anything. Okay, so you're not doing anything now. Why are you like this? Why don't you just work? That's fine. Okay. Add, subtract, divide, multiply power. Add a math node dividing by 2. Yeah, I know that's a thing, but why would I want it? Why is that it's fine. It'll work. It's just not, it's more complicated than it needs to be, in my opinion. We'll just divide. And we want a, so we're going to add 1 divided by 2. Well, that's not good math, is it? This is going to show my math skills or the lack of it. So we want to add a value of 1. This is horrible. This is great, though. Okay, well. You might be able to fly under that one. We have a working score, but... Oh, that's an impossible one. Some of these are going to be impossible, it looks like. Game over. So you can't do 0.1. Modify property. And I thought I was going to be all cool and just do this in one shot. I know I had this problem in the past, and I can't remember how I fixed it. I thought it was with a once. Event, once on value changed. Change to, next tick. This probably isn't going to work, but oops, if I play the game right. Nope, that is not a thing. Oh, I'm so bad at Flappy Birds, it turns out. Okay, come on. Come on, boy. Any of these gonna work? Nope. We may have to go back to Logic Note or Logic Bricks here and do this part in Logic Bricks. What if I remove the object and add? This might break it, but nope. Same. You are the same. You have never changed. Wow. Failed that one. This is just going to be a stream of me failing my own game. Wow, this is an easy section. Okay, so we'll is happening to you? Well, I guess we could do something dumb here, but we could just say add and then subtract 1. This is not the way to do it, but since we're doing 2s. See? So, you know what we're going to do? Who cares about the integer? We're going to make this a string, and we're just going to read it out as a string. So instead of numbers, just give me a string. Or not. Thought I was going to be cool again, but that is not the case. I guess that wouldn't work anyways, would it? See if I get the same results on float. Oh, that's a bit excessive. It's not even going to be on screen. Let's also do this, and then we're just going to do a integer. I'm curious to see if it's the text property or if it's whatever whatever the thing is. Let's just do prop instead. So now we can see it up there. So it's adding by 2 as well. Unless it's spawn, am I getting 2 of the, are these doubling up on each other? Oh, that didn't even update. Oh, it did update it. It's on the wrong thing. So it is doing the same thing. But why? But why are you doing that? Okay. Okay. We got this. Add 1. How hard is it to add 1? You know what we might do? I know it's forbidden right now, but we're going to do a message called +1. And this message is just going to come over here and say add text 1. I know it's forbidden jutsu, but we're going to do it. We're going to make it work. Okay, send message. Please and thank you. We don't need that anymore. When the object is removed, yes. From self to anybody, +1. All hail bricks. Oh, it's so terrible. Whenever I get stuck on something, I revert back to the mystical bricks. Okay. Hey, look at that. Who would have known the mystical bricks work? That's a +1 if I've ever seen it. Game over. It works. Who cares? We made it. It's happening. So now what I want to do, and I might be getting greedy here, but when the game goes to the game over screen, I want the score that's up in the corner to disappear, and I want a bigger number or the actual total score to appear in the game over scene. So the player can just say, oh, that's my score, instead of looking over into the small number that should only be on screen when the game is going. So in order to do that, let's just go over to our game over here. Nope, I want to go over to my scene because I'm cool that way. So if this is equal to true, then let's do a set visibility. And we're just going to make that invisible. Like so. And make your text invisible. There we go. And instead of doing evaluate property, if that's equal to 1. Yep, okay. So in the game over, I believe I have okay. Nope, it's not there. I forgot. I did that in Logic Bricks, didn't I? Perhaps. Game over. Scene. I guess we'll just do a not here. And then if not, and then we'll do that. I think these need to be on repeat as well. It's been working, but you never know. Oh, yeah. I'm good at this, I think. Oh, it doesn't even matter because we'll set it to not visible when the game over happens, and then it'll restart the game, so we don't have to worry about it. So theoretically, we'll get some points here, and it should just make our score disappear after we lose. Play like a winner. There we go. And then at the very bottom, or we'll put the score in the middle, and then at the very bottom will be our press to restart. Which might be better to have a thing. Anyways. Yes, let's come over to this camera. And we're going to say game over. Let's just duplicate our game over. Put that here. And this is going to be our high score. And we can do something like high score. Like that. Space to restart will go down there. Maybe we'll just make it, we'll leave it pretty simple, I think. I think that'll be better. Okay. We're losing steam, guys. How long has this stream been going? 2 hours and 11 minutes. That's pretty decent. That's definitely one of my longest streams. I don't think so, actually. I think some of them were like 4 hours before. We won't worry about it. It's been a long day, but we'll make do. So for our high score, we need to make sure that this number is copying the data from our other number. And I could do this using logic nodes, but I'm a little bit thinking. I'm thinking something that might not be good, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the logic bricks. We're going to do something. And we're going to say always, and we're just going to make this update. I can do a property, and I'm just going to say assign text. Oh, wait, no. We're going to copy, and we're going to say property text. The object we want to copy from is going to be our UI text, and then text. So this should give us the same number. I need to actually connect that as our... I'm speaking. I swear I'm speaking. It's going to copy whatever number we have up in here, and it's going to give it to that one. So they're going to be the same. So when I press play, we'll get like 3 points, I think, hopefully. Oh yeah, we'll get a few points here. Might as well get our high score up. Game over, and it's a 0. It should have worked, I tell you. It should have worked. Why did you not work? Oh. Let's see if I just need to change that. It's going to work, I tell you. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Hey, there we go. I just had to make it so it was doing every frame. So we got a game over with a high score and a space to restart. I'll leave this up to you guys. Should I make it so it darkens the background so that the text pops out a little bit? Like do like a... Maybe we'll do that really quick. Oh, flipping it around. Is the score doubling? Nope, it's not. So I fixed... The score is not doubling. I don't think so. You're scaring me now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, it's fine. It looks good. We got 4 of them, and we got a 4 here, so that's pretty good, though. I'm pretty happy with that. Nice, yeah. I'm I'm having a lot of fun with this. That is straight up a game. So, I mean, from this point on, we'll say, who thinks we should do a main menu? Oh, I don't know. I shouldn't promise that. I'm tired. Maybe I should hold off. Let's do a full screen really quick. We're just going to play the game in its entirety, in its glory. We'll set this to 1920 by 1080 for resolution. Full screen. Viewport, use viewport. No, we're good. We're good. Here we go, guys. The final product of our masterpiece. I forgot to do something. Okay. We're playing this majestic game. I need to change some of the contrast a little bit. Oh, and I already lost. Oh, I forgot to save. So here's something. If you're using the standalone player, make sure to save your progress. Otherwise, it doesn't show up. Might have to restart. Okay. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, getting a little bit aggressive here. Made it. I'm going to try getting my high score. Oh, and 8 was the high score. And it's not popping up. Why are you not popping up? Oh. I forgot. It's not popping up because it has keyframes on it. So that's a thing. Let me go into my animation tab here. And we'll go to the action editor. Yes, you do not need an animation. Oh. If I select the camera, there we go. This will be my high score. Perfect. Something like that. So much for all the glory. Let's try that again. Oh, I should change some of the... I should make it look a little bit better too. Make it a little bit less washed out. I'm good at video games. Oh, that's a little bad. Oh, that's one thing. Before we quit this project, I got one more thing to do. One more addition. So, see the problem where like that stutter makes it so when you restart, and that's probably just because it's still embedded and we've got a bunch of stuff running here, we're streaming. But that stutter will make you lose without, and it's not really fair. And then you press play and it shoots you up in the top. So let's make it so the player stays still until you actually press the space bar. So it'll be like press space to start, and then you'll be able to start the game. So to do that, let's go over to the layout, and we want a thing. Let's go to the player, and right now we have it set to alive to make us move. Let's make one more thing called just start. We'll make this another Boolean. Then, if this Boolean is true or false, we're going to add an and list. So we'll need and list. Delete that. Evaluate property. We're just going to duplicate this one. And if start, oops, what am I doing? If start is equal to true, and if is alive, and if space, then we're going to do this. It's a little bit crazy, but this is how we're going to need the actual start to be we'll need to play before we can start the game. Obviously that. So we won't be able to flap, but this also means we need to do another evaluate here. Physics. Set physics. There we go. And if this is, okay, yep. So we'll just connect that in there. We want our player, and we'll set it to, if this is true, then active. Otherwise, what we'll need to do is say not. If not, put that up there. This is getting a little bit crowded. We might have to clean some stuff up here. Let's move this out. Like this. That way I can put this guy right here. Okay. So if not, then it's not going to be active. So theoretically, hey, look at that. So there's going to be a problem where we need to actually be able to, we need to turn all that stuff off for one. Ooh, but I could do it from here too. Yes, this is a thing. We're gonna have a little bit of a thing going on here, but it's fine. So we'll need to make sure that we stop the game before it starts, and then when we start by pressing spacebar, it's going to enable that stuff again. So we can't spawn anything right away. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. And then I need to say when the space bar is pressed. So we'll duplicate this one. And start is equal to false. The answer is start screen. Kind of. I could do a start screen. But what I'm trying to do is make it so, because you start the game and then your character's automatically falling. So I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, yeah. I don't want the game to start, because in Flappy Birds, I do remember like when you actually start the game up and before you play, you have to tap the screen and then it'll start the game. But it's all within the same loop. But a start screen, yeah. I guess that could work. It would still have that issue of the loading problem and the character just falling. So I just want the character to stay there and everything to start once you tap or press the space bar. Is my goal. Okay. So if this is equal to false, then what we'll do is set this to active. Oh. This doesn't even need to be here. But it is. I could probably clean that up a little bit by changing some of the stuff around. But what I will do is set property. Like so. Self, and I want start, Boolean, set this to true. And we'll say, we'll need an and here. Spacebar, and if this is true, then set that property to true. And obviously that didn't work. Oh, set start to false. Hey, okay. Set start to false, and we might need an extra boost there. There we go. Boop. Oh, I crashed it. That was cool. So the restart didn't really help me, because I think I forgot to save. Oh, how much progress did I lose? Okay, we're good. Save. And it crashed. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was a rest in peace game. This is fine. Oh. Okay, so I got some of it back, but not all of it. That was a little bit lame. You know what? My soul is crushed, and it's about my bedtime. This crash could have been avoided. Well, do tell. Please let me know how it could have been avoided. I'll do my best not to do it next time. No autosave. I did have an autosave. It just didn't autosave from the last time. It missed it a little bit. This was a masterclass in patience. Thanks for this. Glad to help. Yeah. I mean, how many... Does anybody have a tally for how many crashes that was? Oh my goodness. What a marathon. But you know what? Let's just, in all of its glory, with what I got, let's play it. Oh, I got one more thing I want to do, actually. I got one more thing. Before I get to all of its glory. Go here. We're getting there. Before... Oh, yes. Score. Make you invisible. That way we get the true gameplay experience. And just to check this out, let's give that a little bit of a orange. Like so. Make that a 3, too. There we go. That's a little bit more vibrant. I thought I made you invisible, boy. Why are you not invisible? I'll make you invisible. Don't trust me. I'll make you invisible. I'll make you wire bound. You'll be a wire now. You'll be invisible. There we go. Okay. You should do a second stream with only bricks and contrast the difference of in the process. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. If I do that, I'll probably... I might do it in Range Engine, because here's the thing. Range Engine, Legacy UPBGE, all they have is the logic bricks, and everything that I do in those, like if you go back to my old tutorials where I'm only using logic bricks, they will work in UPBGE, in all the newer version of UPBGE, if you're just using logic bricks. Ew, bricks. You can build a lot of buildings with bricks, you know. They're structurally sound, I'll give them that. They're simple, but they are sound, and they will hold up. Anyways, I think that's it. Okay, in all of its glory, part 2. Save our game. Start this game. Here we go. Ah! That was cool. In all of its glory, part 3. Yes. Yes. What a game. This is game of the year. Black Myth Wukong, you got nothing on this bad boy. Oh. How many people want this on itch? How many of you want to download this? I'll even, if you want it, I'll even give you the project file. Why not? What a stream game. Let me know if you want it, and it'll be yours. Otherwise, I won't bother. Bouncy box. I don't know. Maybe Flappy cubes? I don't think there's any good, like, good name for it. This is fun, though. Having fun. We'll do a couple more rounds. I am trying my best, though. This is actually kind of difficult. Yeah, it works. I mean, this is it. From all the crashes, at the end of the day, it's a working game. Oh, that's That's maybe not working totally. Whoa. I appreciate that. That'd be awesome. You're giving me motivation already. I do need to fix having the two long pipes connected makes it impossible. Okay. Well, I think that's where we're gonna leave it, guys. Flappy cube, a one of a kind, truly. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for watching this stream. This was great. I am so glad you all joined me. Now time to port it to a real engine. Yes, of course. Now we have a complete game. Yes. How many? This is probably the first time in stream history, as far as up in my channel, where I actually completed a game. Imagine that. I think it was a joke, but yeah. Can you get... Oh, anyways. Alrighty. Thank you all. I'm going to take off. Have a great night. Or a great morning. Or whatever it is for you. And I'll see you in the next stream. Or video. Who knows? Take care. Bye.